ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 4 of Rick, the Rasslin Dad and his boys. It's time to run him in a butcher and squeeze until he quits kicking. As always, sitting next to me are my colleagues in...
crime or
Okay,
just...
I was waiting for somebody to jump in. Thanks a lot, guys.
Sorry, I'm the
didn't finish it.
Well,
yeah, I'm the sharing this podcast guy, so that's what I do for the first
sharing
10 minutes.
this podcast with me, my co-hosts, my colleagues, my partners in crime, Mr. Smooth GD Drew Etherton. And sitting next to him, the captain of all of the paintbrush heads, Jeff the Body Rutledge.
You gotta start the show off with slamming me? And my hair and my looks?
I called you a captain. That's a good thing. You should be thankful for that.
Okay, fair enough.
He's got a point.
I wonder if am I going to need to cut that like 5 seconds of awkward pause audio out?
No.
Like, I can't. We're live.
No, we
cut
just sit in the awkwardness.
We're live. All right, guys, here's the deal. We got a fun show tonight. Coach Rutt, what are we going to be talking about tonight on the cast?
Hey, it is July 3rd, and we are patriotic here at the Rick the Rasslin Dad podcast. We're going to talk about America's greatest wrestler. Maybe get into some heated conversation about that. Maybe that'll lead us into discussing what do these wrestlers have that other wrestlers don't have, or do they have something, or is it simply skill? So the next thing we talk about is, do you believe in the X Factor?
All right. So, are we starting off with... So, are you saying you want to start off with X Factor?
First of all, I would like to go ahead and introduce the headgear of shame tonight.
Oh, yeah, good call.
The reason why we are starting at 10:36 is because our production crew, a.k.a. Smooth G. Etherton, was watching a soccer game.
And actually, I am still currently watching said soccer game on the screen right now.
So, he's basically not going to be present with us.
Yeah, well, I am. I mean, I'll do a little both. I'm actually sharing this podcast. I'm the one. I'm putting it out on Facebook.
Oh, so you're taking the credit
So I'm doing
now.
that. Yeah.
Well, go ahead and put on the headgear of shame
all right.
first.
Well, hand that to me, and then hopefully the U.S. can secure this Gold Cup semifinal victory over Jamaica.
If you had 30 seconds to tell the people of Rick the Rasslin Dad about the American soccer team, what would you say?
The men's national team is rebuilding, and it's kind of frustrating to watch.
Oh.
But, yeah.
Rebuilding.
Yeah, rebuilding. We're a bit of a rebuilding.
Classic
So
rebuilding
you are
here.
telling us that we are starting this podcast 36 minutes late for your rebuilding team.
I don't know if that's the reason we're late. We had a power outage, and that was...
That's true.
That was... Did I not say turn the AC off so that we just sweat it out? And Keenan said to keep the AC on.
Okay.
Power outage... That's why
We'll give you
we're
15 minutes of the late start. We'll give the other 26 to the power outage.
Okay.
We did suffer, unfortunately, at the studio here. Also, my place of residence, we did suffer a power outage.
I believe we'll be having a new studio next week, though.
It could be because of the 3rd of July. Could be because
that's
of the 3rd
not
of
it.
July.
Fireworks.
Yeah, speaking of which, folks, we got the microphones. We're going to try to keep the audio quality clean for you. But you might hear a firework or two in the background because... Let the American people celebrate. We were born.
Hey,
Let freedom ring.
HBD USA. That's all I really got to say about that. We beat the Brits in Women's World Cup yesterday, so that was cool.
In wrestling?
Yeah. Yep.
Because this is a wrestling podcast.
All right, well, sorry if I'm patriotic towards all of our sports.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to call it a sport when you score once in 90 minutes.
Are you implying soccer?
No, okay.
Oh, or is this Greco? Oh, my bad.
Man, throw it out there.
Dude,
People aren't gonna like you.
Wow.
Hold on. Am I wrong?
Greco is a different sport. You are correct.
Okay.
It's a different sport.
Well, I know. I was asking if we're talking soccer or if we're talking Greco. Just didn't know.
I wonder if there are other Grecos out there, like Greco-Roman, like a different, like Greco swimming. Like
just the way the
Yeah.
Greeks used to swim.
Yeah. Greco.
Also naked. That's just all it is. It's like, because they used to wrestle naked, so now it's just pretty much any sport. Let's do some Greco soccer. And it's just
Greco
out there.
soccer.
You're just naked.
Dude,
that's what
we're
Greco.
gonna go Greco.
Pretty sure that's what Greco means.
Gonna go Greco. Greco field hockey.
Yeah.
Greco What's the thing with when you're on the horses and you run around slapping the ball?
Polo.
Greco polo.
That sounds like a swimming game.
It sounds like Marco Polo.
All right, hey.
Greco polo.
You know what? Hey, Rick,
Hey, also share this on your social media.
Yeah, absolutely. I
don't do social media.
Gave you a picture on your email address.
Okay.
It is the most patriotic wrestling picture
All right.
that I can think of.
I'm gonna work on it.
But while you pull that picture up of my boy John Smith, I want to hear Drew Etherton. I'm gonna put him on the spot. Get him out of his soccer game and into his wrestling game. Who do you believe is the greatest American wrestler of all time? Smooth G. Etherton.
I mean, if we're not going most dominant, I'm just going to have to go Bruce Baumgartner. Most medals.
What do you mean if you're not going most dominant? What does that mean?
Well, like, I'm trying to think of maybe who do I think the best wrestler is. Skill-wise is different than who I believe you have to say the best wrestler is, and that's the most accolades.
I like this question because you put your own parameters to it, right? Who is the GOAT to you? What you're saying with Bruce Baumgartner is that you value longevity of the sport, the fact that Bruce Baumgartner had how many medals?
A lot. Let me go there.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Bruce Baumgartner had
I think it was I want to say like 14.
Yeah, it was I know it was in it was
14.
Multiples.
Crazy.
3 golds, 3 silvers, 3 bronze. That's just world championships. 2 Olympic golds, 1 silver, 1 bronze. So 9. He had 13 or 12.
Why did I just count 17? Oh, I counted.
Not Pan Am.
So 12. He had a dozen.
No, he had 13. Sorry, he had 13.
Okay.
13 medals.
So
5 golds.
He's pretty good.
He's
4
decent.
silvers.
Now, but you did mention that he is a heavyweight, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean,
easy, bruh.
I actually had a little thought today on that whole argument, and the reason they switch up, and this is just kind of going back to last week, but why do we switch up weight classes? Why don't we go 125 up to heavyweight? Everyone left for heavyweight. And for the last 2 weights, everyone would leave for. That's why we are switching it the way we're switching it. The NCAA does it, at least in Nebraska high school state tournament, they do it that way, where they pick one weight that's going to be the end, and then people stay for all of it. And that's probably because most people left.
Okay.
So, it was a little more boring, but...
Maybe part of the reason most people left is because the duels were already decided.
No, not duels. This is like the national tournament.
Oh, NCAAs, you mean?
Yeah, like they do that. Yeah, it's like Bo Nickel was the last one this time.
Well, they're just trying to do a featured match.
Yeah, well, but also... When you break it down, it's probably more so that their viewership stays throughout the whole time.
Hey, you cannot argue with the fact that heavyweights are more boring to watch wrestle than the lighter guys.
Have you seen...
I'm not saying there's not exceptions.
Have you seen Taha Agul wrestle?
Taha Akagul?
Yes, I
Sick
have seen
first
him
name.
Dude, watch a 4-minute spar session with him and Snyder.
That's
I'm going to get
fine.
that pulled up. You guys, oh my gosh,
and you know
that
how
is
much...
a treat.
If you watch 100 matches at heavyweight and you watch 100 matches at the middleweights, which one would you rather watch?
What do you mean by middleweights? Depends. Are you just going to throw them random high school matches or what?
At the
College
same
level?
skill level, I think you know what I'm talking about, and you're just trying to skirt around the question.
I'm gonna call Tervel.
He's doing
on
a
this
little
while we're on
skirting.
this podcast.
That's fine. I have a feeling that he's gonna say, yeah, heavyweight matches are boring.
Wow.
They are. He was an exciting wrestler to watch.
And there are some exciting heavyweights. Like, there are some exciting Greco wrestlers. Like Kareem Gabur.
Kamal Bay.
Yeah, Kamal Bae.
All right, so...
All right, so Bruce Baumgartner.
I don't know if it's Kareem Gabur or Kareem
Gabur.
Kareem
Gabur. I don't know, but he's Egyptian. Super sick last name.
Coach Red, do you want to see your picture of John Smith?
I want the people to see the picture.
Throw that up.
All right, we're going to throw it up. This is
pull that up.
In honor of the 3rd of July, the 4th of July Eve. We're going to throw this picture up for you right now. Wow. What a...
And
USA.
I'm
What a-
proud
what
to
a-
be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
It sounded oddly
Wow.
good. It sounded pretty good.
To me.
Uh,
That's
he
John Smith,
looks-
ladies and gentlemen.
First of all, where can I get one of those hats? Oh, those hats would sell.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, they should take him to the World Championships is what they should do.
Unbelievable. What's that guy right there down there next to him? What's he thinking right now?
Never mind.
So anyway, man, John Smith, cauliflower ear, don't care.
I bet, is it 7? I'm looking up on Wikipedia, which, of course, it's always accurate. 6 gold medals? I thought it was 7.
6 golds for John Smith, yes.
Okay.
Well, he had, I believe, 4 worlds and 2 Olympics. I think, is that correct?
Yeah. Yep, you got it.
Okay, so
1, 2. So 6. So Burrows currently is at 5, is that correct?
Yep.
5 golds and 2 bronzes.
Yeah, so he has, but if we're just talking golds, Burrows has, if he wins it this year, he'd tie John Smith for gold medals, and then if he wins it in 2020, he takes it over.
Takes it
That's gonna
over.
Hey, hot take, real fast. Does Jordan Burroughs do that? Does he get it done? 2 more golds to finish out his career. Go.
No.
Bad person.
If he makes our team next year, yes.
Okay, well, duh.
Obviously, if he makes the team,
Yeah, I think if
Yeah.
he makes it to the tournament, yes. If
His hardest- yes.
toughest job is going to be making the
question,
Olympics.
Yes.
The question
That's-
is, will he be a gold medalist? So you can assume that if he doesn't make the team, then he will not be a gold medalist. My question to you is not, will he make the team? My question is, will he make the team and win the gold medal?
I'm going to say no then.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
I would say if I had to.
What are you saying?
I would say if there were
Yes.
odds on it, it would be no.
Yes, you know why? Because he's got the X Factor.
I definitely. Okay,
Let's
wow.
go, Burrows.
I
We'll get to that
definitely.
later.
I absolutely think that he can. I'm with Drew though. If you were going, just think this is
If
basically
there were
this is a
odds on
parlay bet. This would be a parlay bet,
Yep.
correct? Or no?
It wouldn't be. It would be like a
it'd be
futures
like-
bet.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't
What?
know what a parlay bet is.
Yeah. If there were odds on any human being
Yes, to
winning
win
winning 2 consecutive world championships, those odds are not good.
Yeah.
Just right? I mean,
Anyone, it would be that way.
obviously your odds are going to be better for. Honestly, Burrows would have the best odds out of probably anybody, even Sajalaev and Snyder, because they each have each other in their weight class. So odds on bet, that's your best bet, Jordan Burrows. I don't know, maybe he will. I hope he does. You know
Doesn't
what?
sound like it. I'm the
Can I
only
change- can
American
I-
at this table.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, you can. If it's
I think
right.
I think I will change it actually.
All right, fair enough. Drew's the only unpatriotic
Unbeliever?
person.
No, I believe he definitely can do it. I just think that is winning, just placing 2 of them on it, being a betting man that I am.
I don't like how you guys ride the line so much. Just say it like it is. Say it what you think.
I'm gonna
and
say
then
I
move on.
don't think so because making our Olympic team is gonna be very difficult.
think's gonna be
Not
there?
saying that he can't do it, but he has to go through Kyle Dake.
Bring your noise.
Well, not just Kyle Dake.
Well,
I
he's got
mean,
Ringer. He's got
Yeah,
a lot of other people.
he's gonna. Yeah, well, Ringer's going up, but
Oh, he
Jason
doesn't have
Nolf,
Ringer then.
Jason Nolf, Imar, Kyle Dake. Who's going to be going down potentially from 79, other than Dake? Anybody?
Behringer's going up.
Oh, what people are saying? What are people saying about Zahid and Mark Hall?
I'm not sure if people know. I don't know.
I thought I heard that Zahid is thinking about going up. I'm not sure about Mark
They
Hall.
just
I could
need
see,
more Olympic freestyle
So
weights.
apparently, it's difficult for Mark. People are saying it's difficult for Mark Hall to make 174. That seems kind of that seems crazy to me.
He does not look like a big 174.
No, not compared to like Zahid, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
All right.
Speaking of Mr. Jordan Burroughs, should we talk a little?
No, hey, we gotta stay on topic, bro.
I'm right
Greatest
there.
American wrestler.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Speaking
okay.
of Jordan Burroughs.
oh
is
wow!
that
So
what
is that who you're picking?
There you go.
Well,
Oh,
he's absolutely in the content. I mean, okay, so let's talk about this for a second. And that, since we had our Mr. John Smith, Mr. 6-timer up, does 7 medals 5 golds, 2 bronzes outweigh 6 golds? Or do you go 6 golds? What do you guys think?
Depends on your criteria of the GOAT. That's what's great about the question. You make up what you value. That's what I like about it.
What do you value?
Well, do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, what do you value? What do you
value
value in a great wrestler? Just tell me what you value first before you tell me who it is. I want to see if I can pick it.
Well, it's going to
There's
be
probably like
obvious.
3 or 4 people you can choose from.
What if he's like Matt Lose? Matt, if you're watching.
Why are you throwing him under the
Well,
bus
I'm just
like
saying
that,
it's
dude?
possible. Matt, if you're watching, I appreciate you. He did, Matt, you did kick Jeff's butt in sumo wrestling in sophomore year of high school. I don't know. That was just the first name that popped into my head.
Fair enough. Okay, what I value, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you guys. All right, you guys are thinking wrestlers who represented the United States of America. I'm a folk style fan. All right, through and through. We, in the United States of America,
I know where he's going.
our folk style is the most popular sport.
If you say Ben Askren, I'm going to flip
So-
this table.
So, I was thinking about Ben Askren,
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
wanted to so bad, but I looked at the facts, and I just couldn't do it. The greatest wrestler, the greatest American wrestler of all time is Mr. 159-0,
Yep.
Wheaties Box,
We are.
Kale Sanderson.
Also, I thought about the I was thinking
We are.
I was thinking the other day about the "We Are" tagline. Hey, no offense, Penn State, stupid tagline.
Well, you know why that
Stupid
is. But you know
tagline.
why it is. It's because they are the Penn State University, which is the same thing that Ohio State says. We are the Ohio State University. But we just go, we
Okay,
are.
still stupid. How did that didn't redeem it at all?
It did not.
But it makes sense.
Oh
Not
my
really.
gosh,
But you're a huge Buckeye guy.
I am a
And
huge
I know.
Buckeye guy.
So they essentially
you
say
are
the
not.
exact
For
same
the
thing.
record, your favorite team is Penn State over there.
I'm Buckeye through and through. Always have been.
You are a liar.
Oh, so it's a crime to like how another team. Just because you like the Cubs doesn't mean you can't respect the Red Sox and how they
You
play the
cheer
game.
against Ohio State and for Penn State.
That is false.
That is true.
That's 100% false. I was all Joey McKenna over Nick Lee. Yeah.
Were you though?
Yeah, I was 100%, 1,000% actually.
All right. Okay.
Give me your criteria.
So, I just did. My criteria is folk style success. I think proving it at the highest level, right? Obviously, the highest level is not in America, is not the NC2As. But when Kale Sanderson went and won a gold medal in the Olympics, I think that just solidified his position as the GOAT to me, because nobody has ever gone 4 years undefeated, national champ, which is how many guys have come and gone that you're like, oh man, they could do it, boom. Like Gable Steveson this year, everyone thought he had the skill set to do it, and he loses.
We are.
Man, I just
I'm angry right now.
but I'm really mad with Drew right now.
He just completely.
I got him.
He
I got him,
just
and then I
dislodged your
touched
train
his
of thought.
sunburn.
So folk style, Gable Steveson. Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Well, just the fact of how difficult it is to go undefeated, to go spotless through your college career.
Well, through your 4 official years, because
Yeah.
he did lose as a redshirt.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which is
So
why
that's
I
not
maintain
spotless.
that Kyle Dake is just as good of a collegiate folk style wrestler as Kale Sanderson.
That is
Just as good.
asinine. That is asinine. Go ahead. Let's stay on topic, and then let's get into that. Who is your GOAT?
My GOAT. What's GOAT stand for?
Greatest of all time.
Okay, so as of right now, my GOAT is the man, the myth, and the legend who was just previously on the screen, Mr. John Smith himself. I will say this. I think Jordan Burroughs it's almost a tie in my mind between John Smith and Jordan Burroughs. I'm giving them the cred over Baumgartner because
Lower weight class.
well, and yeah, lower weight class primarily. So obviously what Baumgartner did was easy and boring. So I'm giving them both the nod over Baumgartner because I feel like. So what Baumgartner had 5 golds in total. Is that right? I believe.
Baumgartner what?
I believe Baumgartner had 5 golds.
We just said it. He had 5.
And the only reason I feel like
4 silvers though. It's a lot of finals.
Yeah, that is a lot of finals. Jeez, 4 silvers, man, that's nine finals,
9
Pretty
World
doggone
Olympics
impressive.
titles.
But it's just like,
matches.
yeah, I mean that's what makes Burroughs and Smith so impressive. Is just like in almost every attempt for John Smith and almost every attempt for Jordan Burroughs, they're coming out on top, and it's just. If it's almost like I'm looking,
that's not necessarily true for Burroughs. He's gotten 2 bronze and 2 non-medals, right?
Well, 2.
Did he not
yeah,
place?
that's a
Yeah, he
good
didn't
point.
place twice, right? Or just once? Olympics and then
Just the Olympics, right? He's made. No, yeah, because he's made 9 teams and he has 7 medals. Is that right? No, this is his ninth team.
Yeah. So he only not medal.
He's
once.
only not medal one year.
Olympics
Yeah.
in 2016.
So yeah, so the way that I'm kind of looking at this is like average medal. I mean, average medals. Obviously, John Smith is on top. That's why I'm picking him.
Yeah, well, you could also go somebody who just went once 1 year and wins Olympic gold and then leaves. They're also average.
Yes, that's true, but
John Smith retired for a reason.
So
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And Burroughs will retire for some reason. Bruce Baumgartner didn't retire, just kept wrestling.
He did retire.
Well, he eventually did, but he went to...
Yes.
He has 13 world medals. So a lot of these guys quit before it even gives them the chance to lose. I mean, not that they didn't have a chance before that, but it's like, oh, well, my body's going down. Bruce Baumgartner kept wrestling, essentially, at those ages.
Yeah,
you can bow out easy.
Yeah, I give him credit for that, and I give him credit for still competing at a high level. But
I will also say it probably takes less of a toll
look
on your body. Potentially,
look up Baumgartner's medal record. Not all of his golds and silvers were in his first 9 years.
No, 93, 95, 86, 84, 92. So that's like that's spread over a long. That's probably more impressive to me.
Well,
you have. Earliest one is 84, and his last one was 95.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that kind of discredits your theory of, Baumgartner just kept wrestling and didn't take the easy way out. And yeah, he got some bronzes at the end of his career,
but he kept winning, and it's like he kept wrestling all these different years, and yet he could still be on top years later. Like 10 years, 12 years down the road, he's still on top.
Yeah, but
his first gold and his last gold were 11 years apart.
That's fine, but just because he did that, to me, doesn't make him a better wrestler than... Just because he had the mental... We're not talking about who's the most mentally tough. We're talking about who was the best wrestler. And just because he did that doesn't make him a better wrestler. If Jordan Burroughs if John Smith wanted to keep wrestling until he was 40, he'd probably have 18, 19 medals or whatever.
Yeah, but that's a what if.
But... That's what I'm saying.
Or could have.
Well, but you're saying...
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
You're saying, Baumgartner was mental... You're giving him the best wrestler award because he was more mentally tough to keep
I'm not saying keep wrestling's more mentally tough, but he just kept wrestling where he did it longer.
Sorry. Drink of water.
Yeah, it's... So, like, what you're saying is kind of similar to what Cale's record of perfection, right? I mean, John Smith was perfect. So your value is in the fact that John Smith was perfect for the 6 years that he did it, where Drew values longevity of doing it over and over and over and proving that you're one of the world's top for over a decade, which is pretty dang impressive.
So by Drew's logic, Kyle Dake would be better than Cale Sanderson.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Well, he's got some losses, but you're...
No,
but you
no,
think-
the
but you
losses don't
think-
matter. It depends on
but
how long he
he's
keeps going. I mean,
got
if he
some- he's
if he
got
doesn't win Olympic gold, then or if he doesn't win, he's already
What
won
you're
one world
saying
medal.
is you're willing to overlook his losses for the other amazing things he did in his career. Am I correct in that?
If he goes longer and wins more world medals and gold than Cale Sanderson did, then
no,
yes.
I'm not talking. We're talking about collegiate. We're talking strictly.
I didn't know we were talking college.
Who was a better collegiate wrestler? And here's the reason why Drew's logic supports my point. Drew is saying that, oh yeah, Bruce Baumgartner had some losses, but overall in his body of work was more impressive than John Smith.
I'm not even arguing that
Guys-
Dake's career wasn't more impressive than Cale. I never said that.
You didn't?
I never said that.
Okay, well,
I never
Jeff,
said Cale was the best college wrestler
Jeff
ever.
for sure did.
Yeah, I did. 100%.
He did. All right.
And we
He's
can
Jeff saying
defend
he's
it.
the best American wrestler ever.
Yes.
From America, where we compete for world championships and Olympic titles.
And he did that. And he did that. And he went perfect in the style that we care about the most.
He did it once.
Yeah.
And the silver.
Oh wait, that's not your logic. Your logic is it doesn't matter how long you could keep doing it, but I mean, this is what Keenan does. He gets one little thing and he tries to prove his point by changing up your argument.
Okay, obviously a one-timer doesn't deserve the same cred as a six-timer.
Why? Why does a six-timer not deserve more credit than someone that did it for 12 years?
Okay, obviously we can compare Bruce Baumgartner and John Smith.
Sounds like your logic is flawed.
Obviously we can compare Bruce Baumgartner and
Turn
John
up the
Smith
heat.
because John Smith has more world championships than Bruce Baumgartner, more gold medals. John Smith has more gold medals than Bruce Baumgartner. So
Okay.
they're in the same ballpark.
Your argument before was, yeah, well, John Smith could have done it. He just chose not to do it.
But he also got more golds. So then, yeah, you.
But did you say
roll
that? Did
all
you
up in a
say
package.
that? Did you say
I'm
that
saying it now.
that he could have that he could have kept on doing it for 12 years like Bruce Baumgartner did? Or do you retract that statement?
No, that I still support that statement. I still endorse that statement.
Could Cale Sanderson have continued to win just as many gold medals as John Smith did?
That's much harder to say when a guy only won one. That's my point. It's much harder to say that when a guy only won one.
Well, he got second the year before, so
2 years. Not bad, but I mean there's a lot of other guys who have done that. A lot. There's nobody who's came close to Burroughs
but
and
there's
Smith.
evidence that states that person could continue to dominate in that fashion.
What evidence? Mike Zadek won a silver and a gold. Jake Herbert won a silver. There's plenty of guys.
That's a one. Mike Zadek won two? Are you
Yeah,
sure?
he won a silver.
No,
he won
he
a
did not.
gold and well, maybe he just won one silver.
Thank you. That's a big difference.
But point. Okay, don't make me look this up because you know that I'm correct. That there are a lot of guys that have won 2 or 3 medals.
and then falling off, just like gone.
Yeah,
He won one silver.
there's lots of okay. There's
Okay.
okay.
Not
Listen,
close to two.
guys, all we have to do to support my point here is look up guys that have won 3 or less medals, 2 or 3 medals. There's plenty of them, guys. There's plenty of guys that have won 2 or 3 medals and then they can't win anymore. One of our
Okay,
best friends.
Step back from this argument and the fact that you're trying to win it right now, and I want you to tell me that you believe Cale Sanderson could not have continued to win medals like he did the first 2 years that he competed.
I think he could have, yeah.
Well, yeah, he freaking came back like freaking 10 years later and got 5th without any training whatsoever. So I
Okay,
think
that's a bit of an overstatement. He trained.
very minimal training.
He trained.
He was a leisure trainer.
Yeah, 100%.
trained.
He was coaching is like this. Well, I'm beating everybody else in my room right now.
Okay.
I might as well give it a try.
But once he made the team,
Yeah,
first
he
of all,
started
I
to
guarantee he trained hard before the trials, full training camp. And I guarantee after the trials, he trained full, just like he did back in the day.
I'm sure he trained once he made the team, But you knew.
But I would say that actually supports my point. He didn't even make it on the podium.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, fifth. Seriously though, like
Oh
fifth
my
is good.
gosh.
But that's what you're trying. That's actually exactly what you're trying to say. You're trying to say Kale could have just kept doing it and rattling off medals. It's like, well, actually, it happened, and no, he didn't.
He stopped competing for I don't know how many years. Did the trials on probably very minimal training. Beat a world silver medalist to make the team. And then he got fifth at the World Championships. That's pretty dang good.
A world silver medalist, like I need to remind you that you were saying, apparently isn't a big deal at all because he only won one world silver and couldn't win any others.
I think that's a great argument that Jake Herbert won one medal and trailed off, and he never did it again. But because Cale did two, he did a silver, he did a gold, and then he got fifth several years later. It is unbelievable that you're arguing this point right now.
Unbelievable because I'm right?
No, you are dead wrong. You know. Okay, so you're telling me if you were betting. Okay, let's go back to the betting scenario. Okay, would Cale Sanderson win 6 medals?
I think you could probably make the argument that he would. I'm going to say this. I'm going to give him for sure at least 4 medals, for sure. It's really hard to say for sure that he could win 5 or 6 titles.
Kale?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, when he stopped wrestling, that's problematic to an extent. I mean, if you say folk style, and if that's what we're valuing, that's a different story.
I'll give him 4 medals. I think that's more than generous. I think he wins 4 medals. Yeah, maybe.
If he wrestles for 10 more years.
Wrestling?
If he wrestles for 10 years, you're giving him 4 more medals.
He took 7 years off and got
freaking
fifth.
crazy.
You're
freaking crazy.
Hey,
guys, you two should fight.
He was a better scholastic wrestler than freestyle.
It's
than
called
freestyle wrestler.
He
folk style.
got second the year after.
Hey,
His
I want to
first year
remind
wrestling
you,
freestyle.
when he won the Olympics, Sajidov from Russia, the guy who beat him in the World Championships the year before, got upset by some guy who bumped up 2 weight classes named Moon Yu Jai.
You're right. They should just give he should not win then.
And then
you're right. That's the way that wrestling works.
So are you saying circumstances don't matter? Is what you're saying right now then?
You know, I just think that he should give back his medal because that guy got beat. Because
I think if there was like an injury,
no, you're saying circumstances don't matter.
Actually, not even an injury. I feel like if there was a reason that guy didn't enter the tournament, but he entered and lost to the guy that Kale beat. So
you guys are gonna really sit here right now and tell me that sometimes that guys don't get upset and it makes it easier for another guy to win?
Oh no, for sure that happened. And Jake Varner.
That's fine, but what you're saying is, his Olympic. What you are doing right now is you are trying to devalue Cale Sanderson's gold medal because a guy that once beat him got upset in the bracket. So therefore, he should not have been an Olympic gold medalist.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying.
Why would you bring it up then?
Because I'm trying to make the point. Cale deserves his Olympic gold. He won it. I'm trying to make the point that he doesn't deserve to be thought of in the same class as John Smith and Jordan Burroughs.
I'm not arguing either way, guys, just so you know.
Sitting on the fence, huh?
Well, no, my argument is like the opposite of this argument.
What is
Mine's like the longevity, like that many medals. Because I think it's extremely hard at the top to put together those tournaments, which does make John Smith and Burroughs for that fact, and Kyle Snyder for that fact, very impressive. But also, I mean, it's again what Jeff said. It's what you value. I think it's crazy to think that you can put those together, but then you kind of stop while you're ahead. Like John Smith quit essentially while he was ahead, and Bruce Baumgartner just kept going and then put together a bigger body of work. Yeah. To where that's impressive. Where I believe he medaled every single year he went to Worlds for 13 years. Which is quite impressive.
He didn't medal. Did he medal every single year he wrestled?
83 to 96.
Dang. That is impressive. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we settled that. I will raise my own hand, proverbially,
What do you think about you disagree with my statement that you should count collegiate wrestling?
Well, I think you can factor it in, but I think that we all agree, right, that international wrestling is a level above collegiate wrestling, right? I mean,
Didn't medal in 91. Let me just say that.
Well, it's hard because you can't really. Yes, the only style that everybody in the world competes in is freestyle and Greco. So that's the measuring stick. But let's pretend we live in the world in which collegiate, folk style, scholastic, if you will, everybody in the world competed in. Would we be having a different conversation? Would Cael Sanderson undoubtedly be the best wrestler of all time? Would Ben Askren be part of the conversation? Because I wanted to pick him. I wanted to pick Ben Askren, and he might be my number 2.
If folk style was the world, if wrestle our style a title, but that's not the style that we wrestle, and therefore the pool of athletes is narrowed. So when you go to the world stage, not only is it that's what we have as a common style, but it widens the pool of athletes. Now you are competing against way more athletes, and and every country's best athlete.
I agree. I still like to
every country's best wrestler. Let's not get onto that. Let's not get onto that.
I'll give you that. If international wrestling were American folk style rules,
who's the best?
Man.
Oh wow.
He just said it.
No.
He just said it.
I was trying. Okay,
yes,
he wasn't letting me finish my.
Yes, he said it.
I was gonna say, let's say the way that it was you wrestle a folk style, you wrestle a collegiate career, and after your collegiate career, you're eligible to wrestle in the world championships. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, this is how it was, and then you wrestle, folk style world championships, dude. But Askren, okay, I know that Cael and Dake did 4-timers, blah blah blah, but dude, Ben Askren, his pin. What did they post his pin? He had 91
it was just
pins.
Unreal. Comparing
Dude,
it to guys like Ed Ruth and David
Smash
Taylor,
Hammer,
guys
Bo
that
Nickel.
we just think of, man, these guys pin all the time, and how far ahead Ben Askren was.
It was like Bo Nickel had something like, I want to say, right around 60, and Askren had like 30-some more pins than Bo Nickel.
It was unreal. And, I just think his success in MMA is also a testament, he is not a very good fighter. He can't strike well. He can go to the ground and do jiu-jitsu, but his jiu-jitsu is minimal. Right? He's not
he was really good at jiu-jitsu.
He's good, yeah.
He's very good at jiu-jitsu.
But is he good at jiu-jitsu because of his folk style wrestling?
Well, that's how he got.
That's
how he got.
So what I'm saying
that's why it made him easy to get good at.
Yeah, he's become one of the best wrestlers in the world, strictly based off his knowledge and understanding of folk style wrestling.
Well, one of the best fighters in the world.
That's pretty impressive. But I will say this. My theory on MMA, this is for another podcast, and this isn't really that profound of a theory because lots of other people have said this. I've heard Joe Rogan say this, actually. But wrestling is by far the hardest discipline to learn in MMA. So if you are an expert in wrestling, it is way harder for a kickboxer to learn wrestling than it is for a wrestler to learn kickboxing. That's why. That's plain and simple why wrestlers dominate.
Wrestlers just understand their body very well and at a more in-depth level.
Yeah.
I also think it gives you the ability to bring the fight where you want it to be.
That's true. Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, so, yeah, Askren would be king of folk style international championships if there were such a thing.
I probably agree.
Yeah.
Do you agree? You're going to go with Cael there.
I don't know.
Or Dake.
I don't know.
Askren, we haven't talked about this much, but catchweight, Askren versus Dake. Dake's senior year, Askren's senior year. 170 pounds.
Let's save that for who would win.
Oh my gosh, who would win?
That would
I
be
got it
probably my
Okay, put it in
favorite
there.
wrestling match ever.
That would be insane
Yeah,
hype.
that would be sick.
All right, are we
Does
gonna,
the X Factor exist?
does the X Factor exist? Okay.
Let it be known the United States just scored a goal.
In what sport?
Football.
Dude, football's on?
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
Football's on.
Nice. Go Chiefs.
7-0, huh?
Well, 2.
Or
Safety.
3-0?
A safety.
Oh, safety.
Safety.
Nice.
Yeah, makes sense. All right,
All right, let
X
me,
Factor. Does the X Factor exist? Here, I'll intro this because I was listening. I can't remember if it was I was listening to the Rudest podcast. I don't know. And they were talking about Dake and Ringer. And, Ringer is on a tear right now. He's just shredding dudes. And one of the commentators, I can't remember if it was Askren or Dernlin or who said it, but they said, well, Ringer looks incredible right now, but it's Kyle Dake. He just wins. So you got to go with Dake.
Not
And
against Burrows.
I hate that so much because that doesn't mean anything. If you win, it's because more than likely you were better than the guy. Now, I'm not going to say part of that's not mental. I believe absolutely that the mental side of the sport is huge, but that's tangible, I think. The physical side of the sport and the technique side of the sport and, the athletic side of the sport, those are all tangible things. Kyle Dake didn't beat Alex Derringer last year just because of some mysterious, weird, he just beat him. It's like, well, he was better than him. He beat him in 2 matches to prove it. And my point in all this is, where the rubber meets the road is, yeah, Kyle Dake he just wins. Oh, yeah, he just wins. Well, until he doesn't, because Jordan Burroughs has beaten him quite a few times, actually. He's lost on the international scene. He's lost to Jaden Cox. He's lost a lot of matches. So he doesn't just win. And yeah, he might beat Alex Derringer, but if he beats Alex Derringer, in my opinion, it's because he's better than Alex Derringer.
in what way? His skill?
In his wrestling technique, his strength, his mental toughness. Yeah.
Okay. Then I guess we agree. Because before what you were saying is that he is a better wrestler. Whoever wins is the better wrestler, has the better skill.
They are.
That's not necessarily true. Because there's been tournaments where people lose and then they win.
Sometimes the
They
better
lose to him right away,
I-
and then they beat him later on in the
I
tournament.
admit that sometimes the better wrestler doesn't win in the moment. I'm obviously admitting that, but yeah, Kyle Dake is a better wrestler. What makes up a wrestler? His athleticism, his wrestling technique, and his mental
Okay, so
toughness.
what I think that whoever was talking about picking Dake over Derringer, I think what they're saying is I'm going to pick Dake despite the fact that Derringer has looked like he's been on a tear and he's beating all these guys by a whole lot of points, just like David Taylor was beating everybody, and I picked David Taylor every single time against Kyle Dake, and he looked way better than him. This is what's going to happen.
I don't like that argument. He didn't look way better than him.
He did.
No,
Yes, 100%.
no. People just say that. Kyle Dake beat Sargush before. Why did he look better than him? Just because he wrestles more cool. Just because he's more fun to watch wrestle. David Taylor's more fun to watch wrestle.
That's not true. There's matches where Dake looks tired. He's not firing. He's not, but he's winning matches. Yeah. Guess what? He beat Sargush. He was able to find a way to beat one of the best wrestlers in the world. And that is what I believe Kyle Dake has, is the ability to win matches. And it is somewhat intangible, and it is an X factor because you can't really pin it down. You can't say this is what it is. Mental toughness is probably what it is. The ability to overcome circumstances that are not favorable for you. I think is probably the best way if I had to pin it down and say, this is what Kyle Dake has more than David Taylor. This is what Kyle Dake has over Alex Derringer. That's what I would probably say. It's some sort of mental toughness. I don't think it's wrestling skill at this point. I think Derringer looks to be the wrestler that has the, it's hard to say right now because we haven't seen Kyle Dake wrestle for almost a year. But he definitely looks like he's going to be able to compete skill-wise, but I believe Kyle Dake will continue to win because of this intangible way that he has about his matches and his being able to manage the matches to being able to win.
So would you say that Jaden Cox has more of an X factor than Kyle Dake?
That's a good question. I don't know.
And here's
No,
the reason.
I would say no.
Here's a revelation that I just had.
I know you like those revelations and then go with it.
It's a good book. Good book.
Yeah, great book. So is possibly the reason why you feel like, in your description of the X Factor, is part of the reason why you feel like maybe Kyle Dake has this amazing X Factor is just simply because he doesn't really have that flashy of a style. And so he's not really that fun to watch wrestle he does sometimes hit super explosive moves and stuff but
no.
He's not really that flashy, and so sometimes it looks like, oh wow, like he beat this guy 2-0 who's not really that good or whatever, and David Taylor's just teching everybody, and it's like, oh man, but it's his defense, it's his David Taylor. Yeah, I get it. I was with you. I was doing the same thing. I was picking David Taylor to beat him too, and I even in college I kept thinking David Taylor was going to beat him, but it's like, Kyle Dake, there's been no body of evidence that we can honestly write down on paper that would show that David Taylor has beaten better opponents than Kyle Dake, or that at least not up until last year anyway. Not until last year. Before last year, we could not write on paper that David Taylor was better than Kyle Dake based upon his accolades. And so the reason why we wanted
he was a Hodge Trophy winner.
The reason
accolades.
But the reason why that was, and the reason why we wanted David Taylor to win, is because he's more fun to watch wrestle. He's exciting. He's flashy. He is constantly moving. He's constantly hitting moves. That's not the case with Kyle Dake. Kyle Dake wins a lot of matches, and the reason why he didn't win Hodge Trophy is because he will just grind out 4-1 wins over a guy that none of us really know.
He did win a Hodge Trophy.
Well, I know. I'm saying.
By beating David Taylor.
I can see that. I can see what you're saying, but I'm going to say no, because the first time that we had this discussion / argument was about Jordan Burroughs. And Jordan Burroughs is flashy, is exciting, and we talked about how we think that Jordan Burroughs has a stronger X factor, as you will, than Kyle Dake, and that's the reason why he was able to beat Kyle Dake. That's why I believe he will beat Kyle Dake in 2020 and win 2 more gold medals to pass up.
This is the other reason why I don't like the X factor argument, is we might not be having this discussion I know everybody's gonna. I know the response to this is, well, Burroughs won, but 2 years ago, Dake beats him once. Dake absolutely could have gotten that call in the second match for 2 points at the end of the match when he drove Burroughs out of bounds, plopped him on his knees, and they end up calling it a push-out 1, and Burroughs won that match. That absolutely, I'm not saying it should have been called 2, but it absolutely could have been called 2.
Your arguments are not good when it's could have, would have, should have.
Okay? But my point in that is, if you're going to admit that could have been 2, that could have been called 2, in an alternate universe, Kyle Dake beats Jordan Burroughs in that best 2 out of 3 series.
Is there time left on the clock?
No, there literally was not. There literally was no time left on the clock. And they challenged it and match over. And Dake wins in 2 matches. Now, granted, I get it, okay? I get that Burroughs beat him, but again, guys, we got to live in reality. the calls, circumstances and calls and things do matter and make differences in matches and national championships and world championships.
Obviously, Jordan Burroughs has lost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I believe that he has an X factor to win matches. It doesn't mean he is always going to win matches. It doesn't mean that he is invincible, but I believe he possesses something that is difficult to explain that allows him to win wrestling matches. And
it's not that difficult to explain. It's called a freaking blast double leg.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not necessarily true because let's bring this down from the Kyle Dake, David Taylor like difference because that's so small. They're both world champions. We've been around wrestling long enough. We've had either teammates and or kids that we've coached that for some reason when they go out there they don't wrestle nearly as good as they are. You have guys who in the practice room may beat you, but then in a match, like an actual live match, whether it be a wrestle off or something else, you beat them. And so what is that? It's maybe that's performance anxiety, but maybe there's the opposite of performance anxiety. Somebody just wrestles better when it matters.
That's actually
as opposed to in the practice room. Now maybe you could say it's effort, but I mean in the college room, I feel like most people are giving a pretty good effort, and I've seen big differences where when it's just going live, it's one thing. When you wrestle a full match, it's some completely different.
That's actually a really good point. I think really the point that that highlights kind of what my point of contention actually is. What I'm trying to say is, I think what we typically attribute the X factor to is like mental toughness and maybe that is, I mean, and that is, I guess, part of it because that's the hardest thing to really like see tangibly because you can't like, it's just hard to
develop. I mean, we had this conversation.
Well, you can develop it.
Well,
for sure.
you can, but we had this conversation about how difficult you don't know how a person is struggling in their thoughts. You can't control what they think. They can't.
You know what they tell you.
Sometimes they can't control what they think.
Yeah.
We had that conversation before.
Yeah.
So it is in a sense intangible. It's not.
Well, it's not completely.
It's something
intangible.
that you possess. It's something that you possess. Hey, I'm blessed with the ability. Jordan Burroughs is blessed with the ability to have this X factor that allows him to put focus, put things in the past behind him, and focus on the task at hand. And it allows him to be more successful in the sport of wrestling.
But it's no different than athleticism and strength. If it's something that is okay, yeah, you're saying it's something that's God-given, great. Can you also develop it as well too? Yes, you can. If that's true, then it's tangible and it's something that you can delineate. You can figure out what it is that you're trying to like. What am I?
Delineate it for me then.
Yeah, I'm gonna delineate it right now. You can
delineate away, bro.
I will. You can figure out things that you're not. You can develop mental strategies. Obviously, I mean that's so. I mean, you guys believe that. You can develop your mental toughness.
Can you develop it as much as me? Can he develop as much as him?
Maybe not, but I also can't develop my quickness as much as you either.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think it's something that maybe you tap into some sort of... I know there's a difference between when I would wrestle guys in practice or in whatever it is, just going live, and when I'm actually out there wrestling, I feel different. There's something in you that's just like, and I don't know what that is. Maybe that's like somewhat of a survival instinct. Maybe you're tapping into that. Maybe some guys have it in a positive way. Some guys have it in a negative way. Some guys don't have it in any way at all. Maybe it doesn't affect them at all. But I feel like that would be different in each person. And maybe that's, you could say mental toughness, but it's just something that you can or cannot tap into.
I think what's difficult about the mental aspect is there's so many branches and there's so many things that work for one person but not another, and there's so many components to it that's the X factor. What's the X factor is you cannot zone it into Jordan Burroughs just does really good at this and that's why he wins wrestling matches.
Okay, I agree with you on that, but maybe you could boil it down to like 4 or 5 things that he does really, really well, and you can see them. Here's the point. To go back to what I was saying, the point that I'm contending is I don't think there is that much of a difference between Jordan Burroughs and Kyle Dake's mental game. What I do think there is a difference between is the fact that Jordan Burroughs is just a better wrestler. I guess that's kind of really where my point of contention is because Jordan Burroughs, and here's an interesting thing that I think is kind of fascinating. Jordan Burroughs scores in the last 15 seconds of freaking so many matches when he's down. And we typically chalk that up to the X factor or to mental toughness or whatever. The thing about it is yeah, part of it is his mental toughness in being willing to continue to wrestle when a lot of people would quit. But because he's super explosive and fast and strong and has a handful of really quick ways to score like a lot of wrestlers don't, he is afforded the ability to get those scores in the last 15 seconds or whatever. It's like most guys don't have that kind of speed to be able to close a 4-foot gap or to freaking Isaiah Martinez, he fake snapped and ran around behind him before Imar knew what happened. It's like part of it was Burroughs' mental toughness. Part of it is also his physical capability of scoring quickly. And so you got to kind of look at them together. That's what I think is interesting. But I don't know. We covered. I feel like we found a little common ground there, a little bit.
A little bit. I think you began to realize, and Drew and I are right. And this is what happens oftentimes is you shift your kind of argument, and I'm glad you did because
Keenan,
you
you're great.
Did I shift?
So here's the thing, Keenan.
I did not shift. Viewers, comment.
If anyone is running for any sort of political office,
100%.
hire Keenan because literally you can do anything and he'll find a way to spin it to where you're just kind of like, maybe?
That was a good conversation that we just had, but it was completely different than the conversation that we had after Final X when we were walking back home.
Well, it was just a little more elaborate, but...
Well, no, you changed your argument.
No, I did not. I didn't change the argument.
See, he just tries to like frog in the water boil. Like he'll like slowly. He's like, oh, I got to go this way, and then he just slowly tilts his argument and just like follows this other path, just ever so swiftly, and then arrive in a different destination.
Future viewers, let me know in the comments. Did I stay consistent in my arguments? Thank you and God bless.
From after Final X until now, so that'd be difficult to do because you weren't at Final X when he first said it's just the skill set that Jordan Burroughs has just got more skill than everybody else. Okay.
Guys, USA just gave up a goal. I'm not feeling good right now.
We've got a few minutes left. USA gave up a ball.
We got 20 minutes left. It's the 70th minute.
Oh, they fumbled?
Go Jamaica.
Yeah, they fumbled it or what?
They fumbled it in the back of their own net.
All right.
Dang it.
Let's move on to who would win. I got a couple, and then I want to go with week 2. Keenan did win week number 1, and he does have the first pick. So I'm going to kind of give you start to think about which animal or creature, if you will, you would like to put out there on the mat today. The first who would win question is Twitter or Facebook. Which would win in a folk style wrestling match?
That's actually interesting.
Facebook, because Twitter's like only journalists and they're not that tough.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with Twitter because they're limited to like 160 characters, so they're like wrestling is more of a sprint.
Yeah, but Twitter like bans people for nothing, and so they're kind of snowflakey.
Well, Facebook bans.
And I know he was supposed to go first, but I chose Facebook. Twitter bans people like that for no reason whatsoever.
Both ban people, guys.
Yeah, but Twitter, it's way easier too.
Okay, so Keenan says Twitter because wrestling's more of a sprint, and you said Facebook because Twitter are typically
Facebook's old. Facebook's old news. Facebook's like a bunch of. That'd be like if.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of Vietnam vets against a bunch of like little safe space liberals. Yeah, yeah. I'll take my Vietnam vets. Thanks.
Facebook is like John Smith stepping out on the mat right now. How old is he? What is he? He's like, what is he, pushing 60?
Yeah.
And he's going to step out on the mat right now and wrestle. I don't know. He's going to wrestle.
He's wrestling like
He's gonna wrestle Tervel. Tervel's got a bad back.
No.
Tervel's got a bad back.
no,
Yeah,
no.
he's got some issues.
He's wrestling someone who looks like Bryce Meredith,
Tervel's
but
gonna-
doesn't wrestle like Bryce Meredith.
All right, Twitter.
Okay, next one. Gable, Dan Gable, or Cale Sanderson. Catchweight.
Catchweight?
In their prime.
Catchweight? Sanderson's gonna Donkey Kong smash him. Dude, what?
Dan Gable was
Actually,
known to wrestle the heavyweights.
That's true. Yeah,
them.
people would say that he would always wrestle he would wrestle heavyweights and.
If they wrestled now, Sanderson, easy.
No, in their prime.
If they wrestled
now.
yeah.
If they wrestled now.
No, I
I
mean
think
like.
I have a chance at Dan Gable if we wrestle
Dude,
now.
honestly, dude.
Golly.
Okay, that's not what I meant, but that is what I said.
Oh my goodness! Did you see that video of him jogging out to the barn? It was like
No, this is the same argument I had with your dad, and I said
both of his hips were gonna break. Gable, don't come after me.
he looks like a big what's the dog your sister has?
Oh, a sheepadoodle or a Great Dane?
Yeah, it looks like a really old Great Dane when its hips
Trying
are
to
just
get
like
up off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What would the catch weight be if they were gonna wrestle? Like you had Kale's got to cut down to like 180
Well,
or
what was
something.
he?
Let's pretend like they're the same weight.
Okay. Pretend like they're the same weight. I'm going Kale.
Kale, because wrestling has evolved too much from when Gable was doing his thing.
Interesting.
I always said I would love to see Zane Rutherford on top and Gable on bottom and just see how he does.
You know what match
He
that
would
I-
get
you
he
know
would
what-
get destroyed because wrestling has changed that much.
You
Folk
know,
style.
here's who would win next week. Write this down. Zane Rutherford, Collegiate Prime, Brent Metcalf, Collegiate Prime. That would just be a
Let's just
hand
answer
fight.
now.
Oh, that would be good.
That would just be a hand fight of all hand fights. Both guys would come out with like some teeth missing, like just both eyeballs like kind of hanging down. It would just be-
I'm gonna give it to Rutherford on that.
oh man, that would be.
Yeah, but we all don't like Iowa.
Dude,
so
remember
like that's
Brent
kind
Metcalf
of
was-
you're asking the wrong crew.
I remember when Brent. You guys remember the old Brent
I'm
Metcalf
an Iowa
jokes?
fan.
Like Brent
He's
Metcalf. Brent Metcalf's got a third lung. Superman wears Brent Metcalf pajamas.
Those were
all that
real
stuff.
funny.
That was great. Oh, my favorite one was the cops pull over Brett Metcalf. He let him off with a warning. That was my
That's
favorite.
so good.
That was when all the Chuck Norris jokes were big, and then they just
Yeah.
Yeah, they
the
just
name.
switched it to Metcalf.
Yep.
Okay, man, good stuff.
Brent's
Askren-
getting the fall tonight.
Yeah. Askren or Dake? Askren or Dake?
Oh my gosh, that is so hard.
I feel like that would be a no one
That
takes a
is so
shot.
hard. Okay,
match.
let's do this one legitimately, not as if they were the same weight. If they actually met at a catch weight. Let's say Askren's got to cut to 170, which is what he currently fights, so we know he can make it. And Dake gives him, Dake bumps up 5 pounds from his collegiate weight class to 170. They wrestle at 170. Should we say 169 to make it more fair? 169 and a half, actually, because that would be the exact middle.
Okay.
169 and a half.
Because it really matters.
Yeah,
169 and a half or 170.
Oh my gosh, I'm going. I don't know.
I'm going Dake because of X Factor.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same thing, but
Dude, I don't know. That's.
that is that's
Can
very.
I just not pick?
No, you have to pick.
Oh, you know what? I'll go Askren just to play devil's advocate because
you-
I don't really. I kind of feel like you do, but
You know where Askren really displayed his X factor in collegiate wrestling? Watch his finals match against Keith Gavin.
X Factors exist.
Well, watch his finals match against Keith Gavin
Glad you're coming
his
to the
senior
light.
year. It would have been Askren's
his
senior
senior
year because he wrestled Herbert
So
his
it's a
junior year.
close match in the finals.
Well, yeah. I mean, Gavin was, and I mean, obviously Gavin, future world team member, incredible wrestler. Gavin senior year went, I believe, didn't have an offensive point scored on him in college. Askren gets inside tripped right away. He's kind of down, was not looking good at the beginning of that match, and then just weird, super funky scramble. Literally, basically has Gavin in a hip submission, in a hip lock,
That's what Askren did to everybody, though.
and it has Gavin on his back.
Crazy scrambles. This is why I go Dake. Obviously, X Factor. I also think Dake has got the strength on him, and he's also familiar in the positions that Askren's good in. I think Dake is not as good of a scrambler, but close to as good. and stronger. Therefore, he will take away Astron's ability to score lots of points.
Yeah, that'd be a fun match.
Okay, here we go. Week 2 picks. Keenan won first week. We're going best of 5. Keenan, you get first pick today. Go.
Okay, week 2. Let's go with
How about we like pick a type? You know? Just whatever.
Nope.
Any
just
creature.
Yep.
Any creature.
Any creature.
Oh, I got mine easy.
Any creature.
Okay.
Easy.
I'm gonna go with Buckbeak, the hippogriff from Harry Potter. Massive claws, huge beak, wings, can fly. Vicious if you cross him.
Oh, what are the one of the great eagles from Lord of the Rings? Because they just pick up boulders and drop it on them till it's dead.
Wow, that's weird. Buckbeak literally has everything that has.
I know, but they can fly higher though.
And a nasty, just massive, scary like 4 legs. Buckbeak has 4 legs. It's like a horse.
Too many legs.
It's like a flying
You don't need that
horse.
many legs.
So your animal has exactly everything that mine has, except
I'll be honest, I forgot what Buckbeak was. Now I remember it. So
He's a
I might need to
hippogriff.
change.
I'm
I might need
gonna
to change. I might need to change.
I'm gonna
you
pull up
can't
a
now.
picture of a hippogriff.
You're too
Hippogriff would beat a great eagle.
I don't want to pick either of these. These are both stupid.
Yeah, and that's why I think we're gonna pick like flying creatures or something like that.
You want me to change
You know
it?
what? You know what? I'll
No,
just.
They're both.
Here's a
dumb,
picture of
but
a hippogriff. Oh my goodness! Look,
I'll
it's
just-
literally an eagle with 4 legs.
Yeah, I lose.
Yeah, you lose.
Okay.
Okay. So Keenan wins again. So
Yes.
that stinks for
2-0.
Anyway, you'll get first pick next.
I didn't
week,
know
so
what this.
think.
I thought we were gonna do real animals.
Well, any creature. And you just bring it to the table.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be well prepared. For
All right,
next week.
last thing, and we're getting to our 109 time limit because
Yep.
that's what we've done.
Yep.
Should Dake be allowed to compete? So the big news that came out this week, Kyle Dake will be wrestling off Alex Derringer August 17th, I believe,
in Austin.
in Austin, Texas. Now, the controversy that surrounds this is that Dake is actually going to compete before that wrestle-off. And there's a lot of people that are saying that Dake is abusing the system and that it's unfair for him to be able to compete because basically for him to get this extension, the doctor says this is the date in which he would be able to compete at Final X. And, August, we're assuming that August something was that date, right? They set up the date, and now all of a sudden he is competing live in July here to kind of get ready for the Final X wrestle-off. So, thoughts on that? So do you think that Dake should be allowed to compete?
They should just change the system if they don't like it. Like, people are going to take advantage of this. Whether, like we said, when what's-his-face didn't make weight against James Green. Like, Marable, yeah.
Well, that was...
But, he didn't make weight. They say it's this other thing. It's like, just then change the system.
Well, how do you
Change the system.
that?
Like, you have to show up.
He lied. How
If
do
you
change
can't
that?
show up, you're not wrestling.
So what
If you can't show up at Final X, you're not wrestling.
That's what some
That's the
people
only
are
way
saying.
you could change it. And I'm not saying that's what we should do, but I'm saying that's the only way.
Nobody wants
You
that.
can really.
Some
Yeah,
people
so
do.
that's the only way you could. But that's the only way you can really be like, oh well, is this fair? Is it not fair? I mean, they've made it so many different changes in the past.
Some people are
That's
saying
the precedent now.
Some people are saying the World Championships are on this date, and if you can't compete on that
Yep.
date, then sorry, out of luck.
I mean, that's the way we do every other tournament.
The World Championships are on this date. If you can't compete on this... What? Say that again?
If you cannot compete on the day that your weight class is supposed to wrestle at the World Championships, then you cannot be a world champion. So some people are saying that if you cannot compete on the day of the wrestle-off, then you should not be allowed to be on the world team.
That doesn't make any sense to me. In the key term in there was wrestle off. It's a wrestle off. Yeah, it's an event. We charge money. It's a cool thing. Blah blah blah. But it is the purpose of it is a wrestle off. Okay, what is the purpose of a wrestle off? It's to get the best person. It's to find out who the best person is. Okay, so yeah, if the best person is injured, you push back the wrestle off.
To how long?
As long as it takes.
The day before World Championships?
Okay, here's the thing. you obviously have to allow for travel, for blah, 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 blah. There's got to be, a cushion. I don't know if it's 2, 3, 4 weeks. I don't know what it is. But what's Dake getting? That's 3 weeks before Worlds? Or
Well,
four?
they only,
No, 4
and
weeks.
I may be
4
wrong on
Worlds.
this, but they only allow this for returning world
Oh, later this year?
team members, right?
But, hold on. Let me finish.
World medalists.
World medalists.
So, yeah, I don't know what the cushion is to allow for, like, travel time and to figure out, okay, this is our world team member, we need to get him plane tickets, blah, 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 all that. Yeah, there's got to be some sort of a cushion. But, guys, the purpose is to get the best wrestler. So, yeah, push it up as close to the world championships as you need to. The purpose is to get the best wrestler. Like, I heard these guys... I was listening to the Flow guys. What is today? Tuesday? No, today's Wednesday. I was listening to the Flow guys yesterday. They were making a big stink about the fact, and Nomad actually did make the same point as you, Drew. It's like, well, you got to change the process. Just say, hey, the late wrestle-offs, or if somebody's injured for Final X, the late wrestle-off can be no later than this date. And okay, yeah, I'm fine with doing that. But still, my thing is like, what if... So maybe Dake is playing the system. Okay, whatever. But let's just hypothetically say Dake or Jordan Burroughs. Let's say Jordan Burroughs actually is hurt. Let's say Jordan Burroughs actually is hurt. He's healing up. He's rehabbing, and he's gonna be at full strength, 100%, 3 weeks out from Worlds. 3 weeks out from Worlds, he is full go. But it's a type of injury. Let's just say it's this, I don't know, crazy weird injury that he has that, but 8 weeks out, he's still in pretty bad shape. And do we just make him wrestle off because of fairness?
What do you mean make him wrestle off?
This is fair. Daringer is still getting a shot to make the world team. Daringer is still getting a shot to challenge the world champion.
Well, it's because we don't have this in any other...
Not many other countries are going to afford their wrestlers that chance.
Yeah, no, and I agree that this is... The reason it's taboo is because this is the only situation where we do this in wrestling. If you're hurt, if you're returning state champion, you show up to the state tournament and you can't wrestle, they're not going to hold the tournament for you. And so I think the precedent has been set by every other system we have coming up to where... I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I think you probably do want your best world team member. And if they're returning world medalists, then that's different than just some guy who wants to make the world team.
What high school or college team, if they've got a stud wrestler before regionals or districts, is going to say, nope, wrestle-offs were on Monday. Sorry that you had the flu. Too bad. Yeah,
some might.
Not many.
I'm totally with you. I've argued with you the whole podcast.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. But I think it's completely fair. We as Americans, we want to put our best team together. And to do that more than likely will include our world champion. So the fact that we give them benefit, right? That they get to sit out of the U.S. Open, and that if they want an extension on the wrestle-off, they get it. We need to continue to do that because we want our best team put together. If Jordan Burroughs was hurt, he would be given or granted the same, the same. And I actually think that Dake has taken advantage of the system to an extent. Not telling Daringer, kind of playing with Daringer, really. Not telling him about Final X, him pulling out of that until, like, the week of Final X as Daringer's getting his weight down. I think Dake kind of was fed up with the system because he was a victim to the system for so long with Jordan Burroughs. Jordan Burroughs got to sit out. He was the one that had to go through the tournament and then wrestle Jordan Burroughs, the best 2 out of 3, after he went through all the best guys in the country. And he was frustrated with that. And I do think that plays into his gamesmanship that he's had the last few weeks with, trying to get on this team and kind of messing with Daringer. But I think we need to do that. I think we need to allow exceptions, and I think that's a great analogy. Is it's a wrestle off. It has nothing to do with. It's not the World Championships. This is what we're trying to do is put our best team together, and we're not taking away the spot from Alex Daringer. We're not saying, hey, Daringer, you're not. We scored a goal. Drew's excited.
Nah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Into the final,
Hey.
baby.
We're not taking anything away from Alex Derringer. He's still going to get his chance to beat Kyle Dake, but does he want to beat a wounded Kyle Dake? Does he want to beat somebody that's less, prepared than the best Kyle Dake? We want Alex Derringer, if he beats Kyle Dake, to beat the best Kyle Dake
Exactly.
there is.
Exactly.
So that he can go and win a world medal or win the world championships like Dake did last year. So
Exactly.
We want the best team.
Hey, we've got an outro, fellas, but Derringer's going to beat Dake. You heard it here first.
You say that so often.
That's
and
not
are
going to
so
happen.
wrong.
And you've been wrong every
almost
time.
Every time that you say that, so it
Really?
almost guarantees the
Yeah,
fact
you're
that
wrong.
Dake is winning.
Really?
Yeah. Go USA. Happy birthday, USA, tomorrow.
Happy 4th of July, ladies
Happy
and
4th.
gentlemen. We appreciate you.
Go America.
Boo communism.